How would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have Michael with us that with over 25 years of experience is known to help CEOs and other business leaders to resolve the blind spots that keep the business from growing strong. As a fractional COO slash CFO for an organization, Mike will identify the key operation gaps, including an honest look at the financials, very important that, and develop a plan of action to solve problems slowing your growth. So, in a nutshell, Michael, what are the 5 steps that entrepreneurs should be doing to make the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Really, the first 5 steps, and there's other steps in 5, but the 5 important ones I look at is the first thing is really basic, is understanding your why. Why are you in the business? Why are you doing it? What is that market? And so you really have to answer as an entrepreneur, or business owner, or owners as a collective. Well, why are you doing this? That's the first thing you need to look at. The second thing is you need to just understand your market. There's so many areas you can get involved in, and you have to really understand your market. If it's tech, if it's healthcare, if it's just whatever you're trying to accomplish. And that again goes back to your why. Why are you doing it? And then also, do you understand the market and what the market is producing and what does it not produce? The next thing would be just understanding finances. Finances is so important. You have to understand how the finances work and what your cash flow is. You got to constantly have cash flow, because hey, it's great having a sales team or a person that's selling and you get that first million. It's exciting, but if your cash flow is up and down so much, then you're really going to struggle to understand, well, how do I keep this going? If you're growing at 20-30% at a year, but your cash flow is just horrible, that first million, you'll eat through that really, really fast. Another thing I would look at is your processes. So, okay, you have this company and you're building a widget, or you're doing some type of medical device or something. You need to have a process from start to finish, how you're building it, your idea, your sales, you're building it and where that's being built, what the cost is, and then getting it out into the market. And so you really have to have those processes down. And sometimes I think people forget. It's like, well, I have this idea, I do it, I built it, I'm ready to send out, everyone's going to buy it. Well, if you don't have things in place, it's going to cost you more money to build it. It's going to cost more money to market it. And you really need to make sure those are the key things that you're really looking at. And as you said, the 5 things, those are very important. So you have the why, you have the cash flow, you have the processes, you have talent, which is another big thing. You have to have talent. No matter if it's, you have a friend or someone else, a colleague that you've worked with in the past, you need to make sure they have the talent to take you where you need to go. So again, you need to understand, what are you trying to do? Why are you doing it? And do I have the right people to make this happen?
And the 5th one, the last one, what would be the last step?
Last step, out of those 5, it's just really just, as you're putting all that together, is having a plan. You really have to have, what is your mission, your vision for this company, and what is your plan? What is your strategic plan to put together and say, no, this is how we're going to execute this. And that's the biggest thing. It's like, you have all these things, money, all these things that you're wanting to do. And then all of a sudden at the end of the day, you're like, well, I don't actually have a plan. I don't have instructions. I don't have anything to do this. And you can wing it, kind of do whatever, just at the edge of everything, and just kind of just make it work as you go, make it up as you go. But over time, that's going to catch up to you, and you're really not going to get any further past that million. And then it's just like, well, I made my first million, but I didn't have a way to continue this to grow and to scale, so it just fails. But you have that 1 million that you got the first time around. So
25 years as an entrepreneur, opening, exiting business, working as fractional COO and CFO. Michael, why? I'm sure that someone with your expertise can find a very good, secure job that pay you a lot of money. Yeah.
yeah,
Why you
yeah.
decide rather than be secure and safe,
Yeah.
live the life of an entrepreneur that is very excited. You never get bored because things work, doesn't work, the work doesn't work. You have money, sometimes you don't have money.
Right.
Spend your life 25 years suffering like this.
Well, I don't look at it as suffering. It's I've
I'm
grown
making
up
a
in a
joke. Yeah, yeah.
I've grown up in a life of family members or relatives that were in business. They started their own business from all different types of businesses in different revenues, and they liked it. They enjoyed it. They like having customers, like working with people. And I really grew up with that, and I really wanted to be involved. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to own my own business and things. And as I started owning my own business, starting brand new from ground zero, it's like, oh, these are things I wasn't told or didn't know as I was growing up. Like, oh, I didn't know you need to do this or this. And a lot of it is, learning those things, failing at those things, and then remembering it's like, well, how can I help people in the future? And that is my biggest goal in the last so many years, the last, 10, 20 years, is how can I take what I've learned and how can I then pass this on to other business owners, entrepreneurs, and saying, hey, we're still going to fail at things, but here's some things, here's some tools, here's some things you can think about so you don't go through the same process I went through. So you can, kind of skip ahead, but also too, just like, these are the bad areas, danger areas that you need to stay out of. And here's how I can help you navigate those, that process.
Absolutely. The truth is that we love what we do. Yeah. We can,
Yeah.
so many people have been in this podcast, they have exit companies for multi-millions. And I'm telling them, why you don't go to the beach? Why you don't rest? Go and travel the world, man. Relax. And then no, now they're doing another business because
Yeah.
this is who they are. This is what they love. So in the end of the day, we as an entrepreneurs, I qualify ourselves as a very rare species because we're not that
Mhm.
many
Yeah.
as we think. So we have to keep the community as close as we can and to empower and those ones that have experience be doing something amazing that what you're doing, which is
Mhm.
a fractional CFO and COO. I think that this is really, really important. I done it myself in tech companies and in other companies, and I know, like for example, looking for funding, right? Sometimes the
Mhm.
CEO, the founder, I thought that so many times, the investor they won't give money to you, but they will give it
Mhm.
to me if I'm associated.
Mhm.
No, why to you? Because I have experience, I have a name, I have a track record that if I'm in the equation. So sometimes even from funding, someone that have there is no way that an investor is gonna give the money to a founder
Yeah.
that just have an idea and start a company without having the knowledge.
Mhm.
Who in this company have grown a business £1 million plus that
Mhm.
have that expertise? And if you have a fractional COO or CFO, it will be, I think the investor will be way more comfortable because he said, okay, fine, we have a CEO, we have an entrepreneur that have a good product, but on the
Mhm.
other hand, we have someone that understands growth, that
Mhm.
understand the process of growing businesses. And the inventor he never grow a multi-million pound business before. There is no way that he knows how to do it.
Mhm.
And if this founder is that's my question, Michael. How challenging have you found where we see EOs, okay, that there are first-time founders, whether the mindset of a first-time founder is completely different
Mhm.
mindset of
Mhm.
someone like you that been there several times, or like me, we
Mhm.
see things different, yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you manage to find the right fit because you need a lot of input from these first-time founder to
Mhm.
actually you have to become like a coach, like a
Yeah.
mentor to it. I said, look, this is your company, you're the major shareholder or whatever, but I'm here to give you advice, and it's important that you listen this advice, that you embrace this advice. And sometimes I had seen in the industry a lot of challenges because the founder said, well, I'm a big deal here. This is my product. I invented this. Everybody had to do what I say, and they don't land into reality. They won't go really far, right?
And that's the thing is the so in the inventor, the person, the founder of an organization, a business, their mind, the way they think and the way they do things are just going and always thinking of new ideas. And that's where kind of I come in and you've come in too, is where you just figure, okay, how do I manage? How do I help them get to their vision? How do I help them succeed in what they're doing and let them know that here's my experiences, what I can do for you, and you can do these things, but we got to get there. And there's like explaining the steps, explaining how what things will possibly be some roadblocks, but we can work through those things. And that's where, as you look and as have worked with some great people and other people, it's like, okay, this is not going to work. I mean, it's just, you can tell by their personality. It's like there's that type of personality. It's like, hey, I'm all vision and I'm just going, but they just no guardrails at all, and it just falls apart. And sometimes you just have to walk away and say, hey, I know where you want to go, but in order for you to do that, you're going to have to do these things. And sometimes they're not willing to change the way they do stuff because they just want to go, 100 miles an hour. And there's like, how do I get this done? And I want to make all this money. And it's like, I have the same goals for you. And that's the thing is trying to explain, I'm not trying to stop you from what your idea is, but I'm also trying to get you there so you can sustain it long term. Unless you're saying, hey, I just want to get to this number and then I'm going to sell it. And that's like, okay, then that's a different approach than someone says, I want to build something, make lots of money, have employees, these things.
That's the first thing. The right thing that you have said, it's really, really okay. Because someone that comes to you and says, look, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to grow it until this, and then I'm going to sell it. Yeah. So now this is giving a sign that this is someone that have a plan and is willing to listen, to do whatever it takes and listen in order to achieve this and exit. This type of founder, I find them more easy to work with because they have like a final goal, and now they recognize that they need help because they want to reach this final goal. And after they achieve the goal, they might decide that they don't want to sell, they want to grow, but at least they have a goal. And because you have a goal, you want to have your ego in that process, because you have to surrender that ego. I think that the main problem that we found in the failing companies is that we have the typical founder. Yeah, I don't blame them because I was like this as well. And I think that every time that, entrepreneurs, as we have ego, and it comes to us, it comes with the package because, we think that we can do better. That's why we become entrepreneurs in the first place. So that ego is always there. But then, it's a normal process. You start your own company, you start to make money, and you think that you are the big deal, and everything. That was me. Yeah? That was me with my first company. Oh my God. I thought that was a big deal, that I knew everything and I can make money and everything. And when you are the first 2 years with that ego by yourself, because you know everything, so you don't need help from anybody, it's really exhausted, and you have to wear all the hats in the company and becomes really tiring. But once you surrender to that, I didn't even surrender. I couldn't operate. I was so tired. It was a property company, so I had to do all the selling, the marketing, the design. I didn't want to hire anybody because I was the best at everything. Then I started to hire people, and I find out everybody that I had was better than me at everything. I was telling to everybody, you won't believe the people that I hired. I don't understand how they do it, how they sell, how they do this. How could you? I was asking to my employee, how are you doing this? Teach me. So they were all better than me and everything. So the whole ego thing start to surrender, and you start to realize that way, hold on a minute, I can have an idea, I can start a business to operate and to make some profit, but there are people out there that when it comes as help in form of an employee, or fractional CFO, CEO, people can do the things way better than you. You didn't even knew that this was available, because when we start, we don't know. So that process, if the CEO is still in this first year, 1 year, it's not about time. It's in this mindset frame. I know everything. I'm a big deal, and everybody had to listen to me. This is the recipe for failure.
Yeah. Well, I
for
think
exhaustion, for sure, and for burnout. In my opinion, I've been there, done it. I'm telling you from my own experience. But think, however, other CEOs, for example, this one that you said, well, I have this guy that have this plan. Now it's giving me signs that there is an evolution in type of people. It's coming with a goal, and now is willing to receive help because he knows that that goal can have. So, what, Michael? What kind of conversation do you have with founders to see if they're the right fit to work with you? Because it could be the different someone like you with your experience 25 years can, I believe, that can make a difference from between day and night in the business. And so how this first conversation happen with the founders, so they understand your role, they understand that you're not going to tell them what to do, they are their own business. You're gonna give them an advice and a way that they can mitigate the risk, and you're gonna make them aware of the risk that they having penetrating the market, right? So how this conversation goes, how the process goes, in order for you to be more confident
Mhm.
that the people that you're working with is going to be the right fit, and you're going to grow the company faster.
Well, a lot of that is, as you know, I do several interviews of, so if the entrepreneur, the founder is, if they're more than just the founder, I talk to a lot of the staff, the employees that are currently there, and just get an understanding. Usually I have, because all the years I've done this, you get a feel for what, if someone's going to be interested in getting help, or they're just looking for a quick solution and they're off to doing something else. You kind of know right away what that personality is going to be, and then understanding as you have several conversations and several meetings with the founder of where they're going, what they've done, what they've tried, and understand why they tried those things, and then how they came up with that. And trying to always see, is it always an I type thing? It's like if they're always talking about themselves the whole time. Well, I did this, and you also said through the whole conversation that there is nobody else in the conversation. It's just about them, and all the things from marketing to sales to everything they do. It's from them, and it's like, okay, that could be some of the problem, is that they're not allowing their people
Mm-hmm.
they have, or get new talented people that are
Mm-hmm.
smarter than them
Mm-hmm.
to do that. And that's something that I've talked to many CEOs and founders. There's like, I don't want to. Some of the better ones that I've run into, they're like, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room, because then we have a problem. Because if I'm the smartest person, then how do I count on everyone else? So again, trying to find the people that
No
will
way that you can grow
support.
sustainable like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they don't have any business. The whole principle, I always discuss this in this podcast, because from this podcast, we want all the entrepreneurs to be healthy, wealthy, and happy. And but some entrepreneurs create the business to have this persona, I'm the big boss, I'm arriving to the office. Uh, so whether the business the idea is that you start the business,
Mhm.
and the business work without you. The whole goal is to you to get out of there,
Yeah.
and the whole thing runs in autopilot, runs with them as minimum input. That's the whole point to have a business. However, some entrepreneurs get, like I said, they mix in the business with the ego, and they feel the need that they need to arrive there. Everybody had to report to them. They had to say. Everybody had to do what they say. They are the that taking all the decisions on behalf of everyone and everything. And yeah, for your ego, it's amazing, but
Mhm.
but in terms of sustainability to grow, especially when you scale, it work for me. It reached a point that all the clients want to talk to me, and I'm saying, look, guys, I'm thinking these people are gonna kill me. There are too
Mhm.
many. They all want
Yeah.
to be with me when I sleep. They are, oh, I want to speak with Harry. I'm like, they can't speak with me. I was so I had one manager, her name was Eva. I said, Eva, look, from today you are Harry. She's like, what? Yes, you are me. So these people, all the client want to talk to me, they will talk to you, find a way, email, I don't know, deal with them, and what they want, solve it without having to talk to me either. Okay, they really something, and they think that I can solve it. You can whatever they want. What is it? You take the decision, operate like this. So, but also drove an internal change within myself.
Hmm.
From I am my first business, and making big money and a big deal, and I'm the boss, and everybody had to clap when I show up. And then you change this dynamic, how I can become a leader, how can I empower my team, how I can attract talent to my organization, which is something that was very good at. Yeah, fighting. I have a sense to these people are gonna be great at sales. These people are gonna be great at marketing. These people are gonna be great at this. I have this sense that to identify people that have more talent than me, which is what the whole thing is about in the first place. It's no business, not about you. It's about you create the product and then you attract talent like you, for example, to being part of the company, so the whole thing can thrive. So what is the biggest challenge, Michael, that you have working with clients and how you overcome that challenge?
Really, the biggest challenge is just making sure I have the time for they have the time for me to help them out. You can hire me, and it's just like, okay, I'm here. I so many months. I do like 6 months or more of a contract. I have to have that because again, I'm not going to learn everything in a couple of weeks, couple of months. Set expectations of what is really going to happen in the next year, this year, if I'm with them. And it's you're trying to set the stage for what to expect. And the challenge is making sure expectations are reality, making sure that they are understanding what is going to happen and how we're going to make it happen. And as the further I get involved in a company, there's things I find. It never fails. Everyone says, "Oh, everything's going great." Well, let's look at this. Let's look at your finances. Look at your processes, and trying to those are the challenges to show them the value of like, hey, you have these things, and if you want to continue to grow, you're going to have to hire these people. You're going to have to do these processes. Automate, do the things that make sense, and sometimes you have to spend the money to make more money. And that's the thing is founders are like, but this is what I don't want to spend so much. It's like, well, you're never going to get beyond a certain point. So you have to let go a little bit. So
Yeah.
they're with ideas, but sometimes when it comes to the money, they're like, but I don't want to use all that money to do this marketing. It's like, you got to do marketing. You can't just be you doing the marketing.
Tell
So
me about it.
so you,
Yeah.
you have to say you have to spend on marketing. I've seen so many companies that do everything, all the R&D, all the other things. They ran out of money, and then it was time to market, and we have no money for marketing. Well, then you have to go, then you try to go find someone that has money, and then they're looking at you like, have you done this before? I don't think I want to give you money because you basically forgot to do this. That you should have had this in your plan way before you got to me. And
Right,
they're yeah.
right there, Michael. Right there is one of the biggest problems that we have. Again, getting product market fit go to 0 to 1 is that the first time founders, they are very product centric. Yeah. So
Mhm.
they love the product, they are in love with the product. They think that because the product is good, people are gonna come and buy it out of the
Mhm.
sky.
Yeah.
And this, I say this in this podcast, this word MVP, minimum
Mhm.
viable product, somehow they remove the M.
Yeah.
And it's not minimum anymore. It's a product. It's not
Yeah.
minimum viable product to see if we can sell it. No. So what happened is very common is that they remove this M. Okay.
Mhm.
So now all the money that's supposed to go for sales and marketing goes in product development.
You know.
And then you have an amazing product that is gonna make the world a better place. That is a giant, and now you don't have even funds to even see if the market wanna buy. Look how far away they are.
Yeah.
Because the fact that you develop is so shiny, so beautiful, that doesn't mean that the market gonna buy like this. Is out of the 500 entrepreneurs that we interview in this broadcast, I'm still waiting someone to come and tell me, Harry, you know what? I designed a product like that and I sold it straight away.
Yeah.
No one yet had come with this story. No one, yeah. They'll tell me, Harry, no, we develop the product, then we take it to the market, that they want to buy in this form, then we need to pivot, then we need to come back, then we need to pivot again. In my own business, it was like this in the rooms. The first time that I show a room, and then my first viewing, they say, well, you know what? I'm not gonna take it in painting. So then I went
Mhm.
and paint the room. Then if the next guest come, you know what? It's too cold. It needs some decoration. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
then I went to IKEA, buy the thing, put a painting, put a vase. Then the third person, guess what happened? They bought the room. So the
Yeah.
product is never how you think. It will the market will adapt it, and we
Mm-hmm.
have hundreds in this broadcast, hundreds and hundreds of examples. Somebody was interviewed here. Imagine he invented in the 80s. Look at this, a machine, a device to measure the time of work for people. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
he saw that he's gonna sell to this like a mobile phone, so everybody can track the time for work and more efficient. So he thought that he's gonna sell it to the employees. The long story short, nobody bought anything, and who really wants the product was the CEOs of the companies, and they didn't want the device. They just wanted as a service. They want that he to come with all the devices, mention everything, collect all the data, and give them the report. That's what the market want to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And he thought that he's gonna sell it like a mobile phone to every employee for all Canada. To So the point of the story is that 80, in my opinion, I will ask to let me send back the question to you. If you have hypothetically $100 and you have an startup business, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and you need this $100 to develop a product and do sales and marketing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how much money? So like this, the listening can have an idea how to plan the finance at the broad space. How much out of these $100 you will use in product development, and how much you will use in sales and marketing?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I would say you always,
All
yeah, almost all of it. Yeah, it's you marketing because the today have been bombarded by so much product, so much information. Our attention span on most things, you're looking at social media apps or anything else, or even watching something. We switch off about after less than 30 seconds. It used to be 3 minutes, and it was got to 1:30, and then all of a sudden we're just constantly bombarded. So if you don't have the marketing, you're not spending. And the reality is there is a lot. You can go viral, like people say, "Oh, my product's gonna go viral. I'll just get one person to promote it
But
that's
you also need
famous."
resources. You also need
Yeah.
resources to go viral. You don't go viral
Yes.
out of the sky.
No. It
You
because
need to hire
everybody's looking for
someone very
that.
qualified
Yeah.
to that video for you, right?
Yeah. But if you don't know that person and you don't have a product that's ever proven, no one's going to just like,
Mm-hmm.
promote it for you. So
Mm-hmm.
it again, you have to be strategic about who your audience is, and then how are you going to market to them, and then what it's when you always think, oh, it's only going to be this much. No, it's going to take a little bit more, because again,
Mm-hmm.
you're fighting for the attention of so many millions of people. They're looking at other things, and they will
Mm-hmm.
switch you off. If it doesn't connect with them right away, they've moved on and you've lost them.
The truth is that when you have the startup, you
Mm-hmm.
depend of the client. If you don't have a
Mm-hmm.
client, you don't have a business.
Right.
You're 100% dependent on the client. Now, after you make your first million and you know how to find your clients and start buying your product in a way so it's market fit, then I think, well, you can allocate out of the total budget 20%, 30% for marketing and sales. But at the beginning, it's way the opposite. You 80%. The whole you have to put in marketing and sales, because you need to constantly show this product to people
Mm-hmm.
to see to the market until the market tells you in what form they want to buy and how
Mm-hmm.
much they want to buy of it.
Mm-hmm.
And now you will know if you had something not a market size that you can scale. But if you take the question in the other way, which
Mm-hmm.
is what we see, I see this a lot in tech, a
Mm-hmm.
lot. In tech is this is you see this in tech every single day. 80% of the fund, look how you,
Mm-hmm.
80% of the funding creating the company, and then you have only 20% to show it to the market. You run out
Mm-hmm.
of money. How are you gonna find finance? Who gonna fund? No, he said no. The VCs, they are, they want to give us money. The angel investors want to give us money. No way that they're gonna give you money,
Yeah.
because they saw what you just did with the money that you have. You put
Yeah.
it all in the product. So why do you think that they will be inclined to give you more? The
Mm-hmm.
thing that they're thinking is we give money to this person is gonna keep putting again in the product. and it's a very difficult space, and it's sad because a lot of ideas, a lot of patented products, a lot of good products out there have uh, never seen the light,
Yeah.
and the company have collapsed. However, others that they were normal product, common products, they have built it and they have grown the company. This is statistic from this channel on Unstoppable, 5 steps how to make your first million. This is what we find out. We find out that in the tech space, for example, uh, everybody that come here that is a tech entrepreneur, multimillionaire that have more than one exit or exit the company, they are marketing and sales experts. Some of them don't even know how to code. Listen carefully. But then the people that they are programmers, software that also have exits, successful business, they come to this podcast and they spend the whole hour talking about sales and marketing. I say, what kind of programmer are you, man? You do because they do understand that the way that at the beginning to this product market fit, you need a constant feedback from the market, and
Mhm.
so, Michael, the how difficult is to sit with the CEO that have the wrong mindset because of lack of experience? I mean, it's lack of experience. How can you embrace the conversation with the founder so they actually understand how reality works, or how reality shape, because sometimes they are so in love with the product. I mean, sometimes no, it's the first product, it's the first company, they are products, first time founded, they are in love with the product, they only think about the product, how can I make this product better, everybody want the best product ever, and this is not the case. But in order for you to find out that this is not the case, you need to have more than one company. They say first time founders focus in products, second time founders focus in sales and marketing. So how can we get the conversation to be prospective and the founder can understand what is the priority in order to get the product?
A lot of it, I think, is you have to really, as you're speaking to the founder, just kind of explain again, if you understand that you're for them and you're trying to help them in a place that is going to be very successful, getting them in that mindset, talking about the experience and the things that you've done that is similar to what they're doing and how it
Mm,
works and how it didn't
yeah,
work, and really
that's really
kind of giving
powerful.
them examples and just saying, this is how it has happened. Yes, things can happen this other way, but if you don't, again, going back to is how are you accomplishing what you want on a daily basis, and walking through that with them and saying, do you have a plan, and understanding the financial portion of it, the portion, and then like where walking them basically through a whole steps of from start to finish of where are you at in this process, and then how are you going to sustain what you're doing. And I walk through those things with them and say, this is how you sustain this. This is reality. This is what I've experienced from talking to VCs, talking to different people. This is what they're going to tell you, and this is what's going to happen. And if this happens, then this gives you an idea that they're not interested in giving you money. Because I've talked to people like, oh, I've done all this. I've been talking to these people. They're excited. And I said, great. Have they written you a check? Have they given you money? No. How long has it been? What's the last time they've talked to you? When's the last time they promised you that money? Okay, so then that means they're probably not going to give you that money. They're looking for something. They're looking at hundreds of thousands of people, companies that are doing something, and they're trying to find that one thing that fits what they want, the VC or some type of angel investor or something like that. And if you don't have proven things, if you're not a proven entity, or you're not have a proven sales cycle, like, okay, what is your sales cycle? Just because you think this is the biggest thing ever, have you sold anything? What is that percentage? How much have you sold and how much have you spent to sell that? And if your ratios are off, no one's going to give you additional money. So really being upfront with them, not trying to downplay what they're doing or what they have done, but also to saying, okay, here is a little bit of reality, and this is what you need to look at to really understand. Are you at step one? Or are you at step 50 out of 100? Or it's like, where are you at? And I kind of let them know in reality, this is where you're at. Can you move faster in this way? Yes, but this is how you're going to have to do it. It's not going to happen on its own. And no matter how much work and hours you put in, it's still only going to get you so far.
Yeah, Michael, you talk about numbers. Very
Yeah.
important. You talk about numbers, you talk about check the finances, because this is a projections and the balance sheet of the company is something that the investor will look carefully in order to provide funding. But if everything makes sense, finding money for the company is not that hard, as long as the plan is there and thing is well, these funds are going to be allocated for marketing. This is strategy we're going to use. We already test this. This is the result that we find out. So if we get part of the money, we'll be using to in using this strategy. So something that for the investor to articulate, because the other thing that founders sometimes they think is that they think investors are stupid, and the investors, they probably most of them are first or second time founders or third time founders. That's why they are becoming investors, or they even allocating the funds, or they are overlooking the decision process of the team that work for them. But someone down the line knows about business,
Hmm.
and you show a financial projection that is just a fluff, sooner or later is gonna um, it's gonna work. So what are the key things that entrepreneurs should be looking at in order to create a solid financial projection that is attractive for investors?
I think they have to. I mean, so an owner, founder, trying to seek out investors is really having a proven product. You just need to start showing numbers that show that it is increasing. Because if you come in there and you say, "I've been doing this," they'll only, investor will say, "Well, how long have you been doing this? What have you been creating this idea?" If they're saying, "Oh, it's only in a year and I've generated this much money in the short time," or they say, "Well, I've been doing this for over 5 years and I've generated very little money and a lot more expenses." And like, okay, that doesn't seem like you might be right on the edge of, succeeding, but then other people are not going to have the appetite to say, okay, I'm going to invest money into your organization. And a lot of it is too, is, they're going to ask you what your burn rate is, how much, and that is how much are you spending a day to do what you're doing as a company. What are if you're providing a service, a product, or whatever, and someone's going to ask you, an investor's going to say, how much are you going through on a daily basis? How much money are you spending on this idea? And then they're going to look at that and say, okay, in order for me to make my money back or take a risk, I need to see something that's more than what you have, because right now you're spending more than you make. And I've seen that with companies where you have three founders and they are taking very healthy paychecks home and there's nothing left, and it's driving the business into the ground. And then they're like, but we're in debt. And then they're hoping to sell it for, 3 times the amount. And it's like, there's no takers, because people are looking at us like, but there's nothing there. There's IP worth taking, or it's not worth it. So again, trying to make sure you're in a position that you are setting your company up for someone to buy it, to invest in it, but they have to see the value of it, and you have to convince them of the value, because there's so much over the course of the last probably 15 years, entrepreneurship, the entrepreneur, the word has been really, really popular. And, from when apps started coming out years and years ago and all these things, people are excited. But the thing is, more and more, there's more savvy investors that are saying, I've heard this story before. I've heard the, 10X, whatever is the these days. And people are like, nah, I'm interested. And then they're upset because they think, well, I have the best thing. I can't believe you're going to pass on this. And it's like, yeah, we've passed on many things. And, like you said, there are people that are probably investors that were previous owners. And I've seen a collective where VCs are a collective, a group of people. They're all used to be owners or executives at these companies. And now they have a pool of money and they decide what percentages they want to do. And they know they're not all going to be winners, but they also are they're going to leverage that and figure out what is, they'll be okay, maybe take a chance on. But other times they'll just like, yeah, I'm going to pass on this, and maybe you can find somebody else.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Michael.
Yeah.
If somebody want to know more about you,
Mhm.
or how can find you, how this process work,
Yeah. So 2 ways you can
how
find
what
me.
can you help them with?
Yeah, so two ways you can find me and how I can help you is you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. That's always where I'm at all the time. I'm posting stuff, blog posts, and doing other videos and things like that out there, just kind of talking about the things we talked about today, about just the process, procedures, the finances. What are the things that you need to be looking at in your own company? So I have that, and then I have my
Michael, how can they find you on LinkedIn for the people who are listening in the car?
Oh, so it is Michael Straza on LinkedIn. So you just look that up. You'll see Fractional CFO, CEO, and you'll find all kinds of information. Website is consultstraza.com or strazaconsulting.com. You can go to that, and there's a place you can fill out information and say, please contact me. Here's what I'm looking for help for, and then I will reach out to you as soon as possible.
Thank you so much, Michael. And with that note, see you guys in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneur like Michael break the wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.